sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest.
I think this
know it
could
kills
be
you
a typical
inside, that's why I do this for
I
you.
do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love. Those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make up lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fiend. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted. To grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess. Your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down. Make a living off the sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little. Used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me, I wish that I could make it twice.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fiend. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Oh yes, y'all, I do this for you. What up, y'all? It's nice to have everybody here tonight. You guys know the deal. We're going to talk some sports, talk about what's trending, and apologize. We had to push it back an hour on the show, and what good luck we have. Obviously, you guys know the format of the show. I talk about everything that's trending in sports today, and once I'm done with everything that's trending, I take your questions and I give you answers, because your friends don't know, but Rico knows. And those questions can be on anything in the sports world that I know, or that I follow, or that I'm aware of, or I'm enlightened of. But breaking news just announced 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, who knows. I was almost late for the 6 o'clock start because I was trying to pump out a video for it. But the breaking news is, and I'm going to try to pull it up. These stories came out less than an hour ago. Colorado is leaving the Pac-12. Colorado is in talks to leave the Pac-12. They're out of here. But you don't just have discussions by yourself in an echo chamber saying we want to leave. The the Big 12 needs to be having the same discussions talking about how they want to be with you. Let me explain. San Diego State and their athletic director went out there and told the world they're leaving the Mountain West. If you guys don't know about this dilemma, let me explain it to you. There was a banquet back in January and February, a swimming banquet of all things, in Houston, okay? So there's a swimmers banquet in Houston, and the San Diego State athletic director is at the banquet, and he tells everybody there, we're leaving the Mountain West, we're going to the Pac-12. We're in, baby. And as the months went by, not only were you not going to the Pac-12, the Pac-12 made an official stance and said, hey, we don't want any new teams until we get a new TV deal, and we don't have one right now. AKA, I'm not looking to date anybody. You ever been on a dating website? Ever been on a dating website and there's always these people who are like, I can't find any. Where are all the good men at? Where are all the good women at? I can't find somebody interested in me. Bruh, because you're not interesting. Because you're not a good person. You're not what they're looking for. I say this all the time. There's always these girls. There's always these women. They're like, but I'm a good woman. Well, you ain't good. Being good ain't good enough. Being a good woman ain't enough. I'm serious, y'all. I'm keeping it real right now. There are good women all over this world that are single. There are good women all over this world that are just okay. Because being a good person is the damn prerequisite. It's the bare minimum. You got to be more than just a good person. You got to be good looking. Be a good person and good looking. Be appealing to the masses. You can't just be okay. That doesn't work for me. There's a million good women at home right now getting cheated on because being good ain't shit. So this is all I'm saying. You got to find somebody who wants you. Find somebody who desires you. And San Diego State was out there saying, oh, I want this dream person. I want this Pac-12. I want a Power 5 conference. And the Power 5's like, man, we know we're the dream scenario. We know this is where you want to be. But guess what? We don't want you. Because we're still working on ourselves. I'm still working on me. You ever meet a gorgeous woman? You try to take her out. You try to talk to her. Hey, you interested? Oh, I'm just working on me right now. AKA not interested in your shit. Shout out to Colorado because they say they're interested in the Big 12, and the Big 12 is having a meeting tomorrow with all the presidents. They're having a president's meeting, and they're going to discuss expansion. Let's go. That's somebody saying, I want to date you, right? You meet your dream girl. You say you want to be with her, and your dream girl says, well, I'm free tomorrow. You want to go on a date tomorrow? You ever been on a first date? How do you know a first date's successful? You have a second date lined up before the first one's over. Before the first one's over, she starts saying, so when are we going to see each other again? So what are we doing on our next date? Oh, next date, I'll plan this. You plan this date, next date, I'm planning this. You start sitting there, start going, oh, yo, this went all right. Now, sometimes you don't want that date. And here's the crazy part. San Diego State put it all out there in the public to say they're going to the Pac-12, and then when they found out they didn't have an official invite, they had to go back and tell their wife, my bad, I want to move back in. My bad, I know I left you. I know I said I was leaving you and we're getting divorced and we're getting separated, pending a divorce, but I got to come back in the house. And then the wife was like, well, you got to pay X millions of dollars because you made us pay legal fees and put us on notice. It's some drama, y'all. It's some drama. Now, obviously the question is Colorado going alone? Who else is going with them? Because they got to come in pairs, right? Everybody's got to move in pairs. Who are they bringing with them? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. The Big 12 wants a TV market of some sort. So what's the TV market? If you ask me, I'm not taking Utah with me. I'm taking Arizona State with me. I want Phoenix, not Tucson. Now, they might have to settle for Tucson. But I want Phoenix. Or the craziest one is I want Nebraska. I want Nebraska back so we have a real rivalry. Nebraska, wake up. Go back to the Big 12. Leave the Big 10 and go to the... I know it sounds crazy because the money in the Big 10 is insane. They already got their cut and they're looking good. But I'm just letting you know. There's a whole conference out there ready for the taking. Do something. Now, the teams that never get talked about. Pac-12 is going to need some replacement teams. Pac-12 is now looking to be like the Pac-9 and Pac-8. You're going to drown, bruh. Let me tell you who to sign. We already know SMU, San Diego State will get there eventually. Pac-12, go get Boise. It'll make it worth watching. People want to watch Boise. People want to see Boise. People want to see Utah State. No, people want to see Boise and Fresno State. Boise and Fresno State, and it meets the region's requirements. It's there, man. Figure it out. Or get crazy. Throw some real money at UCLA. UCLA's not locked in all the way. UCLA's not as bought in as you guys think. UCLA doesn't want to be in the Big Ten as much as everybody else thinks. I'm telling you the truth. I've done a lot of research on this. It's not reported everywhere, but it's true. But it's true. Girl, you know it's true. Hey, anyways, so shout out to Colorado. Going to the Big 12. It's not any easier over there. There's some really quality programs in the Big 12. Shout out to K-State, Texas Tech. But it is easier than the Pac-12 for sure. There's not as many professional quarterbacks. So there you go. Thanks for the chat, guys. Write your questions, and I'll give your answers in a bit. Get your questions in early. Throw them over there. You guys drive the show. Let's go back to what else is trending today. Yes, shout out to Colorado, though. Go get your dream girl. Make sure you're wanted, bruh. They're in discussions. Discussions is far away from actually doing it, though. Just so we're all clear. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers agrees to rework his contract for the Jets. I want everybody to understand what this means. What this means is Aaron Rodgers is going to make $50 million. $50 million plus. He's one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. And what it really comes down to, though, is he's going to be with the Jets for more than one season. Because he's splitting up his money. He's ensuring that the cap hit doesn't all hit next year because he was going to be at the league min this year. They got to increase his pay this year to kind of balance it out, or else they were going to take a $100 million hit next year. Yeah, I'm not even joking. It's a $107 million hit on the cap. Went and studied it up a little bit. So what this does is it's friendly to the team, but it really shows that Aaron Rodgers plans to be with the Jets for more than one season, meaning he will not be retiring after the first season. Pretty ridiculous when you think about it. I think Aaron Rodgers needs to retire, should have retired. He's not going to win anything meaningful. You're not winning in the AFC. Let's be real. And I'm tired of hearing him do all his interviews. I'm tired of him talking in philosophical nonsense and telling me he's going to a dark room and chamber. Dude, he is, to me, more annoying than Brett Favre. Now, Brett Favre's a terrible human being. But anything Aaron Rodgers, I turn it off. I'm telling you, I know Pat McAfee does huge numbers on Tuesdays when he does the Aaron Rodgers interview. I don't care for it. Not even a little bit. I find Aaron Rodgers extremely boring. Nothing about him is appealing to me. I never want to watch him play. Everything about Aaron Rodgers is unlikable to me. So that's just how I get down. He's unlikable all the way around. I said it. All right, it's official, y'all. It's official. It's official. Bryce Young is the starting quarterback. Was this ever in doubt? No. But I just want to remind everybody, when a rookie is named the starter before the first game, before training camp, yes, you're sending a signal to your team, this is your starter. We all knew that was your starter. But Bryce Young didn't start as a true freshman at Alabama. He redshirted. This will be the first time this guy shows up and has to start immediately. He didn't do that in college. So it's a shock in the NFL. I hope he can handle it. I hope he's built for it. Team doesn't look good. Scenario doesn't look good. Circumstance doesn't look good. Now, a lot of you guys probably don't date back to Troy Aikman. But Troy Aikman's rookie year, he went 1-15. They lost every game except for one game against the Redskins. Troy Aikman, and he had Michael Irvin. And I think he had Jay Novacek. They were getting crushed, bruh. He was out there and that baptism by fire is a problem. I hope that doesn't occur here. We don't want the David Carr effect where you're getting sacked over and over. His body cannot withstand that. Right? He's not built like that. But shout out to Bryce Young. He's the starter. Frank Wright knows quarterbacks. Shout out to Frank Wright. The greatest, the greatest comeback or second greatest comeback of all time? They'll tell me it's the biggest comeback, second biggest comeback. The greatest comeback of all time is Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. But I'll take Frank Wright, what he did for the Bills against the Oilers back in the early 90s. He had to be there. Hey, did you guys know the WNBA has a serial domestic abuser? Raquana, I'm gonna learn how to say her name because I'm gonna make a video on her later tonight. Raquana Williams, a veteran WNBA player. I don't care if she won a championship last year. She beats up her girlfriends. She's facing 9 felony charges. Oh no, 5 felony charges. I apologize. Where'd I get the 9? 9 domestic battery charges. Sorry, 5 felony charges. Multiple domestic battery by strangulation. This is real, y'all. This is real. She's 33 years old. She's been beating people before. I want you guys to know this. Back in 2019, she was suspended 10 games. 2019, suspended for 10 games for domestic violence on her partner back then. And this is not one occurrence. This is finally somebody going to the police and saying, I got to talk. It's prolonged abuse. Raquana Williams. What are we doing, bruh? How is she not out of the league? How do we keep employing these women beaters? I'm not cool with women beaters. You can't hit a woman. I don't care if you are a woman. We don't hit women around here. I'm assuming she's much larger than her partner. You're a professional athlete in the WNBA. I'm going to go ahead and make the assumption her significant other isn't nearly as big and strong. Not cool, bro. That's somebody's daughter. That's somebody's sister, cousin, and you're beating the hell out of them. Did not identify the person. We got to stop this. I'm going to put a face to this, by the way. I'm going to go find her picture. I'm putting it on the internet. I want people to recognize her. Domestic violence will not be tolerated in this establishment, in my world. Nah. I'm going to put her on blast. I'm letting y'all know now. I'm going to go find a picture of her on the internet, put it up as my damn background, and I'm going to talk for 3 minutes about her life and everything she's ever done wrong. I'm going to put her on blast and make sure everybody knows. And the haters will be in the comments, come on, Rico, why are you always talking about all the negativity? No, this is news. And people need to be held accountable for their conduct. Hey, I'm tired of this shit. I got a criminal in Isaiah Wilson. I go and make a video. I got people defending him. Oh, well, you know, he got his bag. He got red. No, he's a criminal. He was arrested 3 times in 1 year. 2 DUIs, evading police, 140 miles an hour, drug paraphernalia in the car, drugs multiple times. I don't give a shit if he thinks his name is GG Rapper or Bowser the Rapper. Yeah, he goes by Bowser. 6'6", 350 pounds of waist, bruh. It's a criminal. I'm always going to call out criminals because I've lived 40 years and I've only been arrested once. Detained. I didn't get any jail time. Get real, bruh. You can live a good life without breaking laws. Hey, speaking of breaking laws, everybody wants to drag Northwestern players. But somebody tell me why Nigel Glover, a 4-star linebacker, he's leaving Northwestern. He was the first guy to jump in the portal. Now, the other guy that jumped in the portal, I talked about him yesterday, and Juice, and I said, hey, man, he's a thumper, right? And I told you guys, oh, he's going to Florida State. Everybody's going, oh, we don't want those guys. Well, he never did any of the hazing. Well, neither did Nigel here, and guess where Nigel's going? Nigel went on a trip to Ohio State, and he's got another recruiting visit to Michigan this weekend. Going to Michigan this weekend. He's choosing between Ohio State and Michigan. Dude, there's some really good players at Northwestern, and they're getting offers by major programs. These 2 young men, shout out to them. I want to give them some love. But you know what we never talk about? Is what about the players who were at Northwestern and they just left? Guys like Skoronsky here. Everybody knows short arm Skoronsky. T-Rex Skoronsky. That's the take that punk Theo Ash gave. He was like, oh, well, Skoronsky's going to be a guard because he's got short arms. Bro, you know how many times you read that on Twitter before you put it in a video? You ain't got an original thought in your mind. Let me tell you guys about Skoronsky here. They asked him. Oh, by the way, he's from Northwestern, first-round draft pick. Hey, man, what about that hazing situation at Northwestern? And this is your chance, bro. You've been in the program 4 years. What can you say? What should you say? Well, he said, you know, I'll just say I had a great college experience, but I'm not going to comment much more on that. I'm just focusing on being a good teammate here at the Titans. Bruh, you just said everything. Instead of denying it, instead of telling us we had a culture of hazing, instead of manning up and saying, yeah, I was the one running people because I'm bigger, stronger than everybody, instead of saying, yeah, I once balled up a guy and did this, I put my nutsack on his face, instead of being honest and telling everybody, all he did was go, well, I'm going to focus on being a Titan. I'm focused on being a Titan. I had a good experience there at college. Just come out and say it, bruh. You not saying it tells me you're guilty. Hey, did coach know? Did coach know? I would have followed up. You want to focus on being a Titan? Hey, did your coach know about the hazing? Let me know right now. Who witnessed you rubbing your nuts on another man's face? Who witnessed you doing naked pull-ups and naked bear crawls? This is a lineman. You don't think he did naked quarterback snaps? I'm sick of these dudes hiding and not wanting to tell the truth about their culture. Keep it real, bruh. Lost all credibility. Anytime I see this Skoronski dude, nah. Hey, every time I see him, I'm gonna say that dude's got a little penis, cause he ain't built to tell the truth. He's got a little penis. Just letting you know. Hate people who don't tell the truth, y'all. All right. Before I get to the transactions, because I'm not gonna hit all the transactions today. I'll get to questions here. Let me see who I can hit though. Let me see. Where did we stop yesterday? We stopped at Isaiah Ford. That's right. Trayvon Diggs got signed. Then we got, let me see here. I'm sorry. Then we got Justin Herbert. And then, I'm sorry. Excuse me. My charts are moving everywhere. All right. I'm ready now. Chris Pierce, tight end. Used to play wide receiver at Vandy. Moved to tight end. Got released by, hey, and let me tell you guys something. The guys who got released right now, today, it's got to suck, bro. Training camp is starting right now. Training camp starts tomorrow. And you got released today. You didn't even get a chance to try out for the team. Anybody waived in these last couple days are not getting a shot. And it's going to suck to be them. Keeping it real. B.J. Baylor, running back, waived by Atlanta. This sucks. B.J. Baylor was actually a good running back at Oregon State. He played for the Beavers, Oregon State. His final year, over 1,300 yards rushing. I'm telling you, 13 touchdowns, 1,300 yards rushing. B.J. Baylor was nice, but only one season of production. And I told you guys, I don't like one season of production players in college. You got to be good for multiple years for me to vouch for you. If you just started for 1 year, you're Jamar Chase, you're who's that receiver from Ohio State? Everybody keeps talking about JSN. Yeah, I don't vouch for any of those guys. I don't believe in them. I think they're anomalies. I think you're hoping to hit lightning. You're right. You want it lightning striking. It's not it, bro. I'm not sold on 1 year of production in college. I want to see multiple years of dominance before I vouch for you. B.J. Baylor, 1 year of college, did well, but he just got cut. Just got waived. Just got waived by the Falcons, and it sucks because I knew he was in camp and I wanted him to do well. Caleb Huntley's been in camp with them for a while. He tore his ACL last December. He's still not healed. He's still hurt. This is great news for Carlos Washington Jr. You guys might not know Carlos Washington Jr. He's an FCS player from Southeast Louisiana. Who are they, the Lions? Southeast Louisiana, the Lions? Yeah, FCS school. No, first place in the Southland Division. Their star running back was, who's the kid? Carlos Washington Jr. 15 touchdowns. And he's still on the Falcons. They just cut everybody, but they kept him. They got Algier. They got Bijan Robinson. I know this. Cordell Patterson. I got it. The big three are there. I'm always pulling for the last guy on the roster. Shout out to Carlos Washington Jr. 2 running backs got cut, and it wasn't him. I love it. Nick Gugamas, tight end. This is a Division III tight end out of St. Thomas. The Tommies. You guys remember St. Thomas? If you guys don't know, they're the one team. They went from Division III all the way to Division I, FCS level, the school. They can't play in bowl games, but they won their conference this year, the Pioneer Football League or whatever it was. But they couldn't go to the playoffs. They're number 1 team in the division. They didn't go to the playoffs. They sent Davison instead because they didn't qualify because that stupid ass NCAA rule. I didn't mean to curse. I'm not mad, but I am. Guantanamera got released. Quarterback used to play at Tennessee. Shout out to him. He's gone. Isaiah Brown, they call him Ike Brown. He was an undrafted free agent out of FIU back in the day. Started 23 games. I thought he was pretty good, but they released him. They actually released like 3 guys that are not on this transactions list anywhere. The Raiders released another safety and a guard nobody's talking about. Their names escape me, but Chase Garbers gets released by the Raiders. This is the 3rd quarterback to leave the Raiders, right? Derek Carr, Stidham, and now Garbers. Garbers leaving the Raiders, not surprising. The other two guys on the roster are Hoyer and Garoppolo. Both played for McDaniels before, and then they got Aiden O'Connell in the 4th round. So obviously those were going to be the 3 quarterbacks anyways. So for Garbers to leave before camp, good luck. Hopefully somebody else wants you and you get picked up. But it's going to be tough. They also signed a defensive tackle that used to play there last year. I'm forgetting his name. Miller Forstall used to play tight end for Alabama. Used to play tight end for Alabama for a couple years. And went undrafted. Didn't do well. I think he couldn't play. And then he was on a physically unable to play list, the PUP list. And then he got healthy, passed his physical. And what'd they do? As soon as he passed his physical, they cut him and signed Jimmy Graham. I'm sorry. Jimmy Graham. They said, you're out of here. We're signing Jimmy Graham. But he's always been injured, man. He was injured in college. I know he missed 2 seasons in college for injuries. He's injured now. Coda Martin. You guys will never believe this. Coda Martin's like a big white lumberjack. Like this huge lineman. And you guys ever seen a guy, and this is a joke, but have you ever seen a guy and he says, he's looking at you're looking at a guy and you say, well, that's the type of guy I would want to date my daughter. That's the type of guy I would want to date my daughter. And it's usually like a hardworking white wide receiver or something. It's the joke. It's the running stigma and joke you say about white teammates and shit like that because he's a good guy. Yeah, that's the kind of guy I would want to date my daughter. Well, Coda Martin is a huge man, an offensive guard in the NFL, right? He's huge. But he went to A&M, Texas A&M. And then his last year, he transferred from Texas A&M to Syracuse. And he got involved in a relationship and married Dino Babers' daughter. This is an interracial couple. She's black. He's white. Dino Babers' daughter. His father-in-law is Dino Babers, Coda Martin's. His dad was his high school coach over at Manual, but that's a whole nother story. His dad was actually an assistant coach as well in college. They kept hiring his dad. I thought they were paying this kid on the low, if you ask me. But, yeah. His father-in-law is Dino Babers. Well, he just got waived, just got cut by the Saints. Sucks. He didn't even get to try out because the Saints signed, I want to say Jai Martin or something like that. No. I forgot his name. The big guy. I talked about him yesterday. Leonard Johnson. I'm going to give him some shine. Leonard Johnson. You guys don't know this guy, I'm assuming. Went to Duke in 2020. Well, he used to play. It's a funny thing. He's on the Giants. He used to play with Mr. Danny Dimes there. And he was at Duke. And then 2 weeks before the Duke Pro Day, he was doing workouts at UAB before the Pro Day. And he's probably fringe, 6th, 7th rounder at best. Tears his ACL 2 weeks before the Pro Day. Devastating. So he went on to become a plumber. He went and started working as a plumber while he was staying ready. And then the Giants signed him on a contract last year. He's not really made it. He didn't appeal. He didn't amount to anything. They gave him a 3-year, $2.5 million contract, whatever it was. But he got cut, so he's gone. Sucks, man. He tore his ACL. Never got a chance to prove himself. Probably wasn't that good in camp, so I hate to see it. Trenton Thompson. I'm going to talk about Trenton Thompson. This kid is from where I'm from, my hometown. He's from Palm Springs, California. He won a CIF championship back in 2015. Played for the Palm Springs Indians. I know them well. Used to play them every year. And this kid was a star in my hometown and in my area. So shout out to Trenton Thompson. Ended up going to San Diego State. Was there for 5 or 6 years. He was a team captain. Got his extra year due to COVID. That's right. Still was undrafted. But he was on the practice squad all last year for the Giants. And then this year he gets cut. So kind of bummed out. Was first team All Mountain West. I want to see him do well, but the odds are always stacked against you if you're undrafted free agent and you're fighting for time. We'll go to James Campbell, then I'll go to the chat, y'all. James Campbell, corner. He's from the FCS, Montana State. Has a 37-inch vert, 4.43 40. Good RAS score. Good RAS score. So, of course, the Seahawks like good RAS score corners. But when you see them waive 2 corners, that's great news for some other corners in camp. So I'll have to keep an eye on who do they sign undrafted free agent-wise. But unfortunately for these 2 young men, their dreams are over. Isaiah Dunn and James Campbell don't even get to try out. They're off the team, and that sucks because James Campbell, Montana State's finest, Grizzly, and sad to see him go. All right, so now I'm going to take your guys' questions. The show will go as long as you guys have them. and we'll rock it from there. Talk for 30 minutes about everything that's trending. That's kind of the goal. I want to talk about everything trending for 30 minutes, and then we'll go to you guys. So, first from Cali, shout out to you, Willie Bobo. Willie Bobo, I don't know if you were first or the chat reset, but Connor was in here. Fumia, he's always in here. I don't know if he beat you. Just letting you know. Good day, sir. Good up. Hey, what up, Boss Omar? Shout out to you, man. Drake Berry says, how do you see Andre Isilvas fitting in on the Bengals? So Andre Isilvas, wide receiver out of Princeton, former heptathlon decathlete, really athletic guy, great at the combine. He does amazing things when working out and when showing his athleticism. He's pretty fast. I think he ran a 6.71 in the 60 meters, which is not slow. And when you see Isilvas play football, though, he struggles to translate that onto the field. He's definitely a project. 6th-round draft pick this draft on the Bengals. I want to say that he's going to have a hard time contributing. Obviously, the top 3 are there. Boyd, Higgins, Chase, they're all there. But the other kid I like, Charlie Jones. Charlie Jones is a stud. Charlie Jones, to me, is worlds better than Isilvas. So Charlie Jones is going to be in that rotation first. So that means Isilvas is fighting for the 5th wide receiver spot, and Trent Irwin's still there, if I remember correctly. So we'll see what happens. I think Isilvas is a candidate for the practice squad or special teams, but Trent Taylor, Irwin, Stanley Morgan, shout out to his dad, used to play for the Patriots back in the day, and Kwame Lassiter. I'm giving you all the receivers on Cincinnati right now. And I think Isilvas isn't any better than any of them. Shout out to him. He was one of my hidden gems from the draft. Just hoping he can put it together and actually translate it on the field. Because when you saw him at practice, at the Senior Bowl, go in YouTube Senior Bowl practice this year, 2023 Senior Bowl practice, and look at the one-on-ones. You're going to see Tank Dell dominating everyone, and that's why he was my number 1 wide receiver in the draft. Obviously, back-to-back 1,300-yard seasons. And then you're going to see Isilvas really struggle to get separation and apply his athleticism, his track accolades and acumen onto the football field. He's just not there. And there's guys like that all over the place. There's guys who are great track stars who don't really, they don't have football speed. It's just straight line track speed is different from football speed. So that's how I feel about Isilvas. Okay? Let me keep going here. Sorry. Chat reset on me. Not good, not good. Boom, boom. The Sounds of Freedom. I haven't went and seen it. I don't think it's at any of the movie theaters where I'm at. But last night I went to the movies, guys. I took myself on a date. I like to go on dates by myself. I love it. I went to go see Oppenheimer. Dr. Oppenheimer. He's a real person. And I went and watched the movie. I want to tell you guys, I had to go to 2 different movie theaters around here. It was sold out. I had never seen a movie theater sold out in the last 4 years. There were people standing outside. Now, it was a combination of Oppenheimer and Barbie. Okay? Barbie was sold out as well. Everybody was wearing pink. These women were pretty in pink. Everybody was wearing pink. And then there was the Oppenheimer crowd. So I went to this really fancy movie theater out here called Riverwatch. And there's one theater in the whole place. It has a sound system that's just, I've never seen a movie theater like this. It's bigger than any movie theater I've ever been in my life. I want to tell you the screen was 200 feet long. It was like something out of a movie. Like, it was so big, I can't even describe it. Like, I can't, a movie theater, normal movie theater. And then you go to the movie theater, and then there's a big one. There's the big one where all the new movies go. Well, this was twice the size of that. I didn't even know it existed. And I went and saw a movie at that fancy screen, almost like IMAX. It was incredible. And the rumbling and the vibrations and the bass and just hearing it all was really remarkable. Now, the movie theater was filled with about 80% high schoolers because I went at an 8:30 showing. 80% high schoolers were in there. They were on dates. They were all hanging out in big groups, and they all sat down to watch this movie they thought was going to be a thriller. They thought the movie was about the atomic bomb and how we made the atomic bomb. That is a portion of the movie. But the movie's about Oppenheimer's life, his love life, and some of the trials and tribulations he went through after we dropped the bombs. And nobody really was paying attention to all that. At some point, the kids lost their attention span. I think the movie's well over 2 hours long. And they just started texting on their phones, talking to each other. Guys, it is a very dialogue-heavy movie. a la Argo or Imitation Game. These are movies I love. I love dialogue-heavy movies. I'm there to learn. I don't need action. I fall asleep watching Expendables or Avengers or Fast and the Furious. All that shit puts me to sleep. I hate mind-numbing action. Can't stand it for a second. I love litigation. I love courtroom dramas and anything of that nature. And this movie had all of that for me. It was extremely dialogue-heavy. Okay? There's nothing remarkable about like action. You're not on the edge of your seat for anything. Very dialogue-heavy. I can hear the kids saying, this sucks. I don't like it. Bruh, I enjoyed it thoroughly. Watched it. So yeah, I went and watched the movie. Have not seen Sounds of Freedom. Shout out to you. Just want to remind everyone that I'm a tennis and golf expert. I'll wait for your questions. Willie Bobo, I don't believe you, bruh. I don't believe you. Willie Bobo, if you're a tennis expert, I bet I could quiz you on the scoring of tennis, and you couldn't tell me how they score tennis or why the score is the way it is. Why do we count by 15s on tennis? Why do we count by 15 on tennis? I bet you couldn't tell me. Did you redo the live stream because I was the first the other day? Oh, no, the other one. Okay, Connor, I did not, but it made you go away. Biff Poggi! If you guys didn't see the cover sheet, Biff Poggi is the art for today. Biff Poggi, head coach at Charlotte. I'm a huge fan of Charlotte and everything they're doing in the transfer portal. They got over 30 transfers. No one's talking about it. Biff Poggi, former head coach, right? This is a former hedge fund manager, but former head coach at St. Francis Academy in the DMV area, Baltimore. And he went out, became a head coach at Charlotte, and just started recruiting all his old players. Literally has 22 guys from the DMV area, 18 of which come from St. Francis Academy. This man is recruiting all his old high school players. Doesn't care. If you went to his high school, you're welcome to play at Charlotte. And he got a bunch of them from all these different years. Don't give a flying flip. They also got Micah Bowens. It's a good transfer. Quarterback. Athletic kid. Used to go to Penn State, then transferred to Oklahoma. Now he's a graduate with 3 years left. He's going to his third school. He graduated early. He took a full slate of classes. So he's a graduate transfer with 3 years of eligibility. Super rare. And Michael Bowens might be the quarterback of the future at Charlotte. I'm excited for Charlotte. And he went to a press conference, the American Athletic Conference, the AAC, the best Power 5 conference in America. At least they used to be until they lost Cincinnati. Who else did they lose? Houston. And that's it, right? And UCF. Whoa, they lost all three to the Big 12. And what's remarkable is Biff goes to the podium, and he's taking questions at Media Day for the conference. And the reporters asked him 3 questions. 3. And then they had no more questions for him because they don't know his team. They don't study his team. They don't know what's going on. They asked him 3 questions. And he looked at them right there on the podium. He said, 3 questions? That's all you got for me? Yeah, that's probably because you guys picked us last in this conference. But that's all we need to know. And then he banged the podium and he walked off like a pissed off dude. He wore a suit for this. He wore a suit for 3 questions. That man is furious. He's Buddy Ryan 2.0. I love everything he does. He's very charismatic. He's a great recruiter and understanding of leading people. I think he's a people person. So I'm excited for Biff to see what he can do. Biff Poggi, don't get it twisted. Charlotte's got an uphill battle. They need a ton of talent on their roster, but he's going about it the right way. I like everything Biff's doing. Can't wait for the knowledge and truth bombs you go off this evening. Hey, I'm filled with them, bruh. Willie Bobo, I wrote that to you. Herbert's 5 years, $262 deal means Burrow's taking a team-friendly deal a la Mahomes or resetting the quarterback market, 5 years, $265, book it. So super fast dog, couple things. All these deals are team-friendly deals because they can just swap it out and make it a signing bonus, meaning they can get it off the salary cap by just giving guys the money up front. Twist my arm, they will then just give you your money up front and it doesn't hit the cap. It's what they've been doing. They convert your salary to a signing bonus. It's caponomics. It's why the salary cap doesn't exist in the NFL. You can circumvent it with this sleight of hand. As soon as you make a signing bonus and you give it to somebody, they don't count against the cap that season. You can just parlay it from that point. It's garbage, bro. So everybody's cap friendly. I got tennis questions for you. No, you don't, Steve. Leave them alone. Welcome. Hey, guys, shout out to you. Remember, you want any merch from me? RicoKnows.org is the website. RicoKnows.org is the website. Get your shirt. Hey, want to see a dead body? Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Hashtag Rico Knows. Let's get it out there in the world and let everybody know who we are. Hot take. San Diego is high school running back city. Right. So he's got Marcus Allen, Rashawn Salam, Ricky Williams, and Reggie Bush, right? Then you have Terrell Davis, Hall of Famer. You cannot put Terrell Davis in the second group. Damian Williams, Aaron Foster, Michael Pittman, and all this. So here's the thing about this. As a kid growing up, we used to say this all the time. And the one thing we used to tell everybody is Terrell Davis played nose tackle in high school. That's what nobody talks about. Terrell Davis played both ways, but he was a nose tackle in San Diego. The San Diego section is real, right? Fun fact, Marshall Faulk played at San Diego State, but he's from Louisiana. We all talk about that as well. And in the 90s, all these running backs were coming up in high school or they were, afterwards. We knew all of them. So, yes, San Diego is royalty for running backs, but I'm sure you can find running backs in every major city if we sat down and went after every major city. I'm sure we could find some. But, yes, San Diego, they got enough to compare to anybody. Shout out to you. We got a fat cow. If you guys didn't know, Tani Perez is a obese, terrible-looking woman from Brazil and constantly comes on here and doesn't speak English well and writes horrific things and probably needs to just go away, just so we're clear. What up, Rico? Chat, let's get the likes up. Oh, guys, get the likes up. Thank you so much. Do you think Arizona joins the Colorado in the Big 12? Yeah, probably. We'll see, Cam. I don't like guessing at things. I like knowing. Colorado football is going crazy. CL3 was on a visit, and now them to the Big 12. Yeah, I don't know these numbers. I don't know who CL3 is, but shout out to you. I'm not as to date. There's three of me. Oh, I'm not easy to date. There's three of me, myself, and I. Hey, this dude sound like Beyonce. Me, myself, and I. Oh, is that De La Soul? Just me, myself, and I. Boom. I'm pretty sure Willie Bobo gets that reference. I like Nebraska or Oregon to go. That's big money. Yeah, I think Oregon and Washington are a pair. I think Oregon and Washington are a pair, and they're not going to depart without being together, just so we're clear. Do you have any long-form content planned on YouTube besides the podcast? So, Connor, not necessarily. Whenever I come across a topic that requires me to do long-form content, then I will get the camera rolling and just talk without takes like I do here. I'd want to tell you that coming up in the season, I'll probably do a Colorado back brief, over brief, and I'll do a Colorado game review probably every single week. I'll probably do that for every team or at least one team in every conference, and I can do those a longer format, maybe a 10-minute video, and I'll do that. I also intend to do my weekly top 25 transfers, top 25 transfer performers, top 5 picks, all kinds of stuff. We're going to have a lot of things planned for the season, y'all. It's going to be pretty fun every single week. Rico Knows. You do know Milli Vanilli didn't really sing. Shout out to you. We coming. Yeah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I love you. If you look at my videos posted on YouTube, I have a Milli Vanilli cover art for one of my videos because I was talking about Theo Ash stealing my takes. I was flagged for bullying. I just got flagged on TikTok for bullying and something else on my live. Somebody's reporting me. Shout out to you guys. We can do this all day. That's absolutely ridiculous. You guys, the trolls are absurd. And this is why we're getting away from TikTok. Colorado leaving the Pac-12. Yes, they are. Herbert isn't worth that much to me. There you go. Maryland versus Miami comeback was stupid as well. Not remembering it right now. I remember Marshall coming back against East Carolina in the bowl game. Byron Leftwich being carried after every throw by his 2 linemen. I remember that, the Music City Bowl. I want to say they came back from being 33 down. The WNBA having a domestic abuser while cutting a first-round pick from 3 years ago is mind-boggling. Very normal. The NFL just cut a first-round pick. I wonder if Michaela Andrews is going to drag her like she does men. She might have a crush on her. That is something that is common in the WNBA, and for the most part, it gets swept under the rug. So, Jay Earn, it's common in a lot of sports. Let's be real. Thoughts on the PJ Fleck situation? There's no situation with PJ Fleck. There's no situation. They're just trying to say that he has a cult-like following with his football players. That he goes out and he does his coaching and he keeps his team together the way he does. Now, I'll do a video on it just because people want to talk about it. PJ Fleck's doing nothing wrong. Now, earning Fleck dollars is nuts to me. If you guys didn't know, earning Fleck dollars means you earn a certain amount of, I guess, revenue or currency, I should say. You earn a certain amount of currency, and then that'll get you out of trouble if you have a failed drug test or if you're late to practice or if you do anything wrong. Let me tell you guys something. That's very real in any walk of life without putting a label on it. Like, I'm going to give you an example. When I have a soldier who's late to work, if it's a soldier I've known for years and they're never late and they're just late one time, I just look at them and go, hey, man, what happened? I just say, hey, what happened? And I give them the benefit of the doubt that they ran into traffic or the dog got out or they had an emergency. They had to use the bathroom. They got a flat tire. I don't know what it is. They had to stop and get gas. Whatever reason they're late, I'm not even upset about it. But if I don't know you and you don't have a history of being on time and you're late, you're out of here. You're getting crushed. I'm not going to ask you what happened. I'm going to tell you what happened. From now on, you'll be an hour early every single day. And your supervisor will be here to make sure that you show up on time. And then you'll both report to me and let me know that this is working. And we're going to do that for the next month. See, there's different ways of going about correcting people. If you're a construction worker and you're new to the job and you keep showing up late every single day, you get fired, bro. You get fired. Any job, you show up later, you're going to get fired. So the fact that some players can build up enough credibility with the coaching staff to where when they make a mistake, they kind of get the benefit of the doubt because they've earned a certain amount of currency. The concept is fine. It's applied differently in real world and in other, employment and jobs and businesses. It's not terrible. Now, the way they're trying to align it with all the other Big Ten problems, you got a coach being suspended at the Big Ten, right? You got gambling going on in the Big 12 and the Big 10 in Iowa. You've got hazing obviously going on in Wisconsin. Like, you got problems all over this conference, and they're trying to do that to Minnesota. I don't like it. I'm not with it. I'm cool. He's fine. PJ Fleck's fine. He's not for everybody, but he's got buy-in from his team, so that's how it goes. I watched the transfer portal. Not a lot of guys are leaving Minnesota, and that's what people need to understand. When you see mass exodus from the transfer portal, that's an indicator of toxic leadership, an indicator of a less than desirable environment. I didn't see that from Minnesota at all. I saw a bunch of guys who weren't on the too deep departing. Real talk. When did the WNBA become news? Shout out to them. Shout out to you. What up, Steve? Hunter Spencer says, why do you come through with the real takes? Because that's who I am. I'm sick of seeing athletes break the law over and over and over again. Get it together. Lewis Henson, there are people like everybody else. They're a microcosm of society. In 1,000 people in society, you're going to have a couple of outliers. You're going to have a criminal. You're going to have a domestic abuser, a drug user, an alcoholic, or 10 alcoholics, whatever it is. So in a league of 1,500 guys or 2,000 guys, this is going to happen. You're going to have something wrong. Think about a city. Think about a city of 30,000 people. Now imagine that city is made up of athletes and not 30,000 families, not hardworking citizens, not blue-collar and elementary school kids, just straight up 30,000 college-aged kids from the inner city, from anywhere. How much crime would be in that city if you put a city together of 30,000 18 to 24-year-old men? How much crime would be committed in that city? That's why you see so much crime in college sports. It's the demographic, and it's the sheer number and microcosm of society. You can't expect athletes to not have the same amount of criminal conduct that society has. Like, why would they have less? We have children in our society that can't commit those crimes. We have elderly in our society that can't commit those crimes. So per capita, it's going to be more. Whether you want to believe they're all scholar athletes and respectful young men, it's just not a reality. So it doesn't bother me to that extent. What bothers me is when the conduct occurs and the university sweep it under the rug. Or the detectives don't find enough evidence to charge them and they drop the charges. Or the district attorney doesn't feel like they can win in court, so they drop the charges or reduce the charges. Or the judge is an alumni from the school, right? That's what bothers me. All the enablers bother me. The conduct itself is what it is. It's going to happen in every walk of life, in every city, and everywhere you go, right? If you look at a Home Depot and all the employees at a Home Depot, you're going to find a certain number of abusers, and somebody's going to get pulled over for DUI next week or whatever it is. And this can happen in any organization or, business. So, it's college kids. They're going to make mistakes. What should not be condoned is the adults and the people in charge of them sweeping it under the rug, ignoring it, letting it happen, enabling. That's my biggest gripe. Never forget that. All right. Is Brett Yormark, I don't know who Brett Yormark is. Is Brett Yormark trying to get on Greg Sankey's level? Can the Pac-12 survive with just Oregon, Utah, and Washington? So I don't know which commissioner Brett is. I know Greg Sankey, obviously. Can the Pac-12 survive with just Oregon, Utah, and Washington? So the Pac-12 already went and said that they are okay with staying at 10 teams. 8 teams is not going to fly. 8 teams is not going to fly because you need 9. They play 9 conference games. So if you only have 8 teams, that's 7 conference games, and then you need 5 out of conference games. That's not happening. You're not getting 7 out of conference games, or 5 out of conference games. You get 4. Right? Well, why are we going to 5? That's crazy. So and then what do you want? A conference championship? No. Connor Mance, now a marathoner. Mance does not have an E in it, but I'm with you, Eric Gonzalez, eligible for the Olympics. So check this out, guys. Connor Mance used to run at BYU. Great kicker, great runner, always beat Nico Young in the cross-country championships and in track. Connor Mance, national champion in college. Just a raw dude, can kick all day. But American distance runners, we have limitations. We're not as good as some of the East African guys and West African guys, and European people beat us too. So we're just struggling all the way around. So it's nice to see Connor Mance realize, hey, I can go up to a marathon. Now, that's hard work, though. That's hard work. But every time he runs, he looks labored. He looks like he's struggling when he runs, and he's not. He's still got juice in him. But he always looks like he's tired, and he's running crazy awkward. I hope he fixes his form because you can't run like that for that long. But great talent, good young kid. Thanks for giving me a shout-out on that, Eric Gonzalez. I appreciate you. What was your favorite I told you so moment for the past NFL college football season? Santi Valoria. It's real simple. It is the very first one I ever made. Okay? I went on TikTok when I started talking sports. Derek Carr got sent home by the Raiders. And I went and looked up his contract, and I saw when his bonus was going to hit. And I said, oh, no. He gets a roster bonus in February. That's before the new season starts in the NFL. He can't get traded. He will not be traded. He's going to get cut. And I went on TikTok and I told the world, Derek Carr is not getting traded. And all the Raider fans, we're going to get draft picks for him. They'll agree to it. They did a trade like this the other day with so-and-so. They already did this before. Matt Stafford got traded like this. You agree in principle. And then I said, no. If he's on the roster on March 13th, he's going to get $30 million. No one is going to pay him $30 million on a IOU. No team is going to okay with it. And I told everybody. And then they were like, well, it's a no trade clause. You don't even know what you're talking about. No trade clause. You can't be traded because there's no trade. No trade clause simply means they just need to talk to you. It doesn't mean you can't be traded. It means you need to be a part of it. It means they can agree in principle and then ask you, hey, man, you willing to go? And he wanted out. These guys didn't know, and I said it. Rico knows. 200,000 views of people, of haters. Haters. I loved it. The day Derek Carr got released, I might have made 4 I Am Right videos. I swear I was just basking in it because the comments were so persistent. Everybody slamming me, telling me I don't know shit. And then even at some point, The Raiders were in talks with other teams to get a trade, and then people were writing in the comments in the video, it's not too late to delete this. It's not too late to take this down. You sure you want to take this back? It's not too late. I wrote every single person. Call me petty. I wrote back 100 and something comments. All I wrote was, are you okay now? Everything okay? How you doing, man? How's it looking? I was that guy. See the Minnesota Gopher scandal. There's no Minnesota Gopher scandal. Stop it, guys. There's no Minnesota Gopher scandal. Went to school with Kwame Senior. Okay. Shout out to you, Steve. What up, Rico? What up? What up, Indecisive Angel? Some of these girls ain't Barbie. They Peppa Pig. Facts. I did see a couple Barbies, though. I don't like Barbies, but shout out to them. John Ross, former Bengals first rounder and speedster, former Washington Husky, announced his retirement. That's another guy who was only good for 1 year in college. This is why I'm not an advocate for 1 year productive college players. Only good for 1 year. Will Justin Ross be a contributing factor for the Chiefs this year? I don't know, Mason. I try not to predict the future. I try to make educated guesses on things. Has Ross been on a team since 2020? That's usually when you retire after you don't get there. River runs through. What's that in reference to, Eric? Talk to me, brother. Have you seen the TV show Rubicon? Highly recommended. I don't have a lot of time. I don't know Rubicon, though, but I'll look into it. Nice. How was Barbie? Steph, you're tripping. Bobo. What did Bobo say? I missed it. Oppenheimer worked closely with Admiral Hyman Rickover in the development of the U.S. nuclear submarine force. Yeah, so he worked hand in hand with a lot of different things. I'm telling you right now, they created a ton of stuff. 15 Love. No. That's not what I meant by the score, bro. What I meant is, why is it by 15s? Why is it 15? And then 30, and then 45, and then what's up with why is it 45, or why is it 40 and not 45? We could do this all day. Biff only got 3 questions at Media Day. Exactly. Did he coach Blake Corum in high school? I believe he was gone by then, but possibly. Shout out. He did coach him at Michigan, though. Because remember, he was on Michigan staff last year. Shout out to Demario Douglas out here taking first-team reps. Where's Booty at? So, yeah, I made a video. I'm right, guys. I told you guys. When I saw the draft, I was very clear. Oh, this Booty guy's not it. He's slow. He's not the guy. Demario Douglas will be the guy. Everybody's like, no, LSU, Booty was a steal in the 6th round. You're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. He's a first-round talent, blah, blah. Shut up. I watch every player in the draft. I watch every player in college football. I know who's good and who's not. Trust me. You guys ain't trusting nothing. Were you high on Booty when he was at LSU? No, never. You won't find that anywhere on video. I was actually very low on Booty. My man knew TD played nose guard. My man, I'm trying to tell you guys. It's all up here, bro. It's all up here. That nose tackle mileage impacted early retirement for Terrell Davis. No, those 2,000 yards did. He's talking about Charles Lester. When are the official college football depth charts released? Before then, how can I begin to guess and see who's on the roster currently? So Brent Gomez, before then, you just have to have knowledge of the roster. You can go to spring practice rosters and look at those and try to understand and assess what's going on. But the rosters get announced in August. The official depth chart rosters get announced about a week before the games start. And then they'll get them posted on a website called Our Lads, OURLADS. That's the number one website for the major teams. Now, they get the smaller teams wrong, but for the most part, if you're a Power 5 team, Our Lads has a correct depth chart. OURLADS. Best website that I would recommend when checking depth charts. OURLADS. Our, like we own it, like ours. Yeah. Our Lads. Thoughts on college football playoff games from last season? I thought they were good. Yeah, fun to watch. I watched them all. They were good. That's it. PJ is doing Shroot Bucks. Hey, I'm cool with it, man. Shout out to my boy Shroot. If you guys don't watch The Office, I'm out of here. 1984, Maryland down 31-0 at the half, outscored Miami 42-9 in the second half, won 42-40. Frank Wright was quarterback. Oh, dude, how do I not know this? Shout out to Steve. Steve knows. Does Drinkowitz bringing in Jake Garcia undermine the in-state recruiting initiative that Mizzou has tied to implement with Kansas City and St. Louis to keep in-state talent? No, Brady Cook is from St. Louis. Well, That's irrelevant. Brady Cook did well, but Sam Horn is the other quarterback, and he's from Georgia. So that's not undermining anything. Drinkowitz has one job. Get the best damn team and the best roster you can. And if that means you can get help at quarterback from picking up Jake Garcia out of Miami, then go do it. Who cares? We ain't worried about this. We got a new offensive coordinator. No quarterback has an advantage over any of them. Kirby Moore's there. Everyone has to learn the offense. There's no continuity from last year. As far as recruiting goes, he's recruiting guys from home. Right? He's recruiting guys from the state. Get it done. You're not winning with it. Morant's Rant says, I'm here. Shout out to Steve. Thank you for the $10. Steve, I appreciate it, guys. Every tip counts. It makes my dream come true of being able to do this for my entire life. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thoughts on Milton Wright signing? None. I did not see the signing, and I'm not too concerned with it. Shout out to you, Apollo, for asking, though. Yo, thoughts on James Conner this year? I think he's overpaid. I think James Conner's overpaid. He's making more money than Jonathan Taylor. I think James Conner's overpaid. I'm just going to say that. Big 12 commissioner, Brett Yarmark. So you know what Yarmark's doing right? The Big 12 next year is going to have a pro day for the entire conference. They're going to have a pro day for the whole conference. I think every conference should do this. Just instead of having individual pro days at your school that you hope the scouts go to, they're going to have a Big 12 NFL draft pro day. Everybody from the Big 12 is invited to be there, and they're going to have other teams there or whatever. But the Big 12 is doing their own conference pro day. I love it. I love the idea. Love the concept. And that's a brainchild of Brett's. True story. Rico, thoughts on Louisville and the new coach? Talk about it often, Nathan, if you find videos anywhere. Jeff Brom is the truth. I love everything Louisville's doing, and I hope they win at least 8 games next year. I'm a big fan of what Louisville has on their roster. Shout out to Jamari Thrash and everything they got on defense in the transfer portal. I like Louisville a lot. Yo, what's good, Rico? Everything's good, Eric. Appreciate you for being here. Colorado Big 12, that's happening. Rico should have his own game day show. Why would they choose UNC versus SC as the first show? Oh, did they? Because they don't have the TV contract to Colorado TCU. So Fox will be at Colorado TCU, and they're not there. Or ABC will be. Who's got the TV contract? Fox, right? So it's just unfortunate. They got to go with Drake May versus Spencer Rattler and the SEC, and I hope South Carolina wins that game. Rico, what's your take on Michigan State football going into this season? What record do you think they're going to have? So I've looked at their schedule before many times, and I want to tell you I see them winning 3 to 4 games. I think Michigan State's going to struggle immensely. I hope they get a new coach. Mel Tucker's got to go, and they don't look poised to win. Not every team can win. Michigan State, go green, go white. They're not doing it tonight. He on Saints now. Wish us luck. Pettiness is just a form of organization. Justin Ross was a stud before the neck injury. Most people are. Prediction for Rashee Rice, rookie season. Prediction is he gets through the rookie season, man. I don't know what you guys want me to say. Steph, thank you so much for the tip. Rashee Rice is a good player. Like him. He's pro-ready. I was in my top 10 before the draft, and then I moved him out of it. He was number 6 on my very first video when I ranked wide receivers. And then I moved him out of the top 10. I let somebody get the best of me and talk me out of it. But it's all right. I like Rashee Rice. I like his game. Oppenheimer also worked hand-in-hand with all the ladies, apparently. Yes, he was a very, very, very charismatic man and had a lot of women. And there is nudity in the movie. Shout out to him. He is getting his. Jaylen Brown's $300 million contract is wild. Talked about it many times. Think he's overpaid. It's nuts. River runs through a good movie. I was laughing at Boba. Okay, my bad. Weak dudes in here. Shout out to Morant's Rants. Morant's Rants, my identical twin brother. Very weak dude himself, so all you guys blend in perfectly. Just because I disagreed with Rico once doesn't mean I always disagree. Rico Knows is the name. Get familiar with his game. Thank you very much, Lee Man 804. Thank you for the tip. I appreciate you, brother. Coming here to rhyme. It's a bad time, but it's cool. I get dimes. You get dimes -9. Nice one, Steve. Rico, have you had the chance to review Waltzy Champ? No, Boss Omar. That's a name I don't recognize. That's huge. That's what she said. That drop for real. I don't know what's going on, Mac. How many wins does Jimbo need this year to keep his job? At least 8. No, to keep his job, he needs 7. If he wins 6 or less, we're probably talking about a buyout. But if he wins 7, he keeps his job. Virginia Tech record prediction, if you got one. Yeah, they're going to struggle. Somebody's got to struggle in the ACC. It's going to be Virginia Tech. I like what they did in the transfer portal. I think they're better than Virginia, but they better be better than ODU, right? They can't be losing to ODU, so there we go. TCU, I'm not high on. I got TCU winning 5 games max. Like, I'm just not high on TCU at all. I think they lost 8 draft picks from last year's team, and I don't see them reloading. They did not get what they thought they got in the transfer portal. I don't like TCU. They were a 4-win team before this. They had a great season, and then they're back to being a 4 or 5-win team, if you ask me. Opinion on making my kids play football from the time that they're in the womb because of Mbappe's contract. You mean playing soccer, right? You want your kids to play soccer. It's about infrastructure as a young kid. More power to you. Your kids are probably going to play soccer, and they're going to play hopscotch and want to do gymnastics and probably enjoy walks on the beach and wearing scarves. Your kids ain't going to be it, bruh. Just letting you know. They might like hula hoops, and I ain't talking about earrings. Rico, I want to host my own college game day series every Friday night, pregame show, and Saturday morning prediction. You like that idea? Mac 10, do you, bruh. I'm going to tell you guys right now. Everybody talking about these shows, I had somebody reach out to me. They told me they have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and they want me on their show. They want me to be a weekly member of their show. And they said they'll give me the details later. I think I would never give up my opportunity to do this show, no matter how many. I know only 1,000 people watch my live streams. I know. I see my view count, 1,000. When I'm on a good one, 2,000. I don't give a shit. We're going to grow. We're going to be organic, and we're going to keep it moving. I'm not here for that. So the ideas are out there. The people are out there. But the talent, it's one of a kind, brother. It's one of a kind. So the show ideas are there, but there's only so many guys that can sit down and actually talk it, chop it up, and regurgitate it out without hesitation. And that's where I'm at. Thanks, Rico. Tight show. Appreciate you. Later, Steve. Mbappe turns down Saudi. Yeah, they did. Yeah, he did. He don't need it. He don't need it. Bro, what's the issue with Mel Tucker? He can't recruit, can't coach. Think he sucks. Think Mel Tucker's in over his head, and I don't think he's going to get it done. Rice University, not that dude Rice you just talked about. Shout out to you, Marantz Rants. Rico, how many games do you think Texas State University will win this fall? I already talked about him earlier. If you guys didn't know, I have a top 25 coaches. So, unfortunately, I have Texas State only winning 4 games, but I love everything about G.J. Kinney and what they're doing. So, I appreciate you guys. I've been since day one. Remember, you are not a day one super fast dog. The only day one in here is Marantz Rants. That's my twin brother. He's been there since day one. He's the real day one. The rest of you guys are just fans. Don't forget that. Hey, but I understand. I'm not mad at you because you don't know. Your friends don't know. But Rico knows. Peace, y'all. Thanks for being here tonight.
My father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist. And it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify. The things that you believe in have to scream it like a battle cry.